Owen Sterling pushed the cleaning cart through the marble lobby of Sterling Industries. Owen arrived at Sterling Industries at 6 in the morning, 2 hours before most employees. The early shift gave him time to clean the executive offices and common areas before the building filled with people. He had been working as a janitor for 3 days now, and each day revealed something new about the company he thought he knew. The break room on the 3rd floor became his observation post. Employees gathered there throughout the day, talking freely because they never noticed the janitor wiping down tables or refilling paper towels. Owen heard everything: complaints about unfair workloads, gossip about favoritism, stories about managers who took credit for other people's ideas. He was learning more in 3 days as a janitor than he had in 2 years as CEO. Claire appeared in the break room around 7:30, her usual time. She carried a large thermos of coffee and a bag of homemade muffins. Owen had noticed this routine before. Every morning she brought extra food and left it on the communal table with a note saying, "Help yourself." "Good morning, Owen," Claire said cheerfully, setting down her things. "How is the new job treating you?" "Cannot complain, Miss Claire. Learning something new every day. Just Claire, remember?" She pulled out 2 muffins and walked over to where he was cleaning the counter. "I made blueberry muffins last night. Would you like one? I always make too many." Owen hesitated. Accepting food felt different than accepting kindness. It felt personal. "That is very generous, but you should save them for yourself." "Nonsense," Claire insisted, pressing the muffin into his hand. "I make them to share. Besides, you look like you could use a good breakfast. The company does not exactly pay maintenance staff enough to buy fancy meals." She had no idea that Owen could buy the entire building with his pocket change. But her concern was genuine, and that made it precious. "Thank you, Claire. This is very kind. My grandmother always said that kindness costs nothing but means everything," Claire said, pouring coffee into 2 cups. "She worked as a housekeeper her whole life. She taught me to treat everyone with respect, no matter what job they do." Owen took a bite of the muffin. It was delicious, but more than that, it was made with care. "Your grandmother sounds like a wise woman." "She was the best," Claire said softly, a hint of sadness in her voice. "She passed away last year, but I try to live by her lessons." They talked for a few more minutes before Claire had to rush off to a meeting. Owen watched her go, thinking about how rare people like her were. She saw him, really saw him, not as a janitor or a CEO, but as a person deserving of respect and kindness. The incident later. That morning, Owen was cleaning the hallway outside the sales department when he heard raised voices. Vincent Cross was in his office, visible through the glass walls, and he was yelling at a young woman who looked close to tears. "This report is garbage," Vincent shouted, throwing papers across his desk. "Did you even try, or did you just throw numbers together and hope I would not notice?" The young woman, probably a junior analyst, tried to explain. "Sir, I followed the format you requested. The data shows that our current strategy needs adjustment because customer satisfaction scores have dropped 15% in the last quarter." "I do not want to hear excuses," Vincent snapped. "I want results. Good results. Not this negative garbage that makes my department look bad." "But sir, these are the real numbers. I cannot change facts." Vincent leaned forward, his face red with anger. "Then maybe you are not smart enough for this job. Maybe I should find someone who knows how to present information in a way that does not make us look incompetent." Owen stopped cleaning and watched. This was worse than treating service staff poorly. This was bullying. Vincent was intimidating a young employee for telling the truth. The data showed problems, and instead of addressing them, Vincent wanted to hide them. The young woman left the office with tears streaming down her face. She rushed past Owen without seeing him, heading straight for the restroom. Vincent returned to his desk, already on the phone, laughing about something as if nothing had happened. Owen made another mental note. Vincent Cross was not just rude, he was toxic. Lunch break revelations. The employee cafeteria was busy during lunch hour. Owen usually ate in the maintenance break room, but today he wanted to observe the social dynamics. He sat alone at a small table in the corner, eating a sandwich and listening to conversations around him. Claire sat with 3 other women from the marketing department. Owen recognized them from the staff directory: Janet, Lisa, and Rebecca. They were discussing an upcoming project when Vincent walked past their table. "Ladies," Vincent said with a smirk that made Owen's skin crawl. "Working hard or hardly working?" "We are discussing the Morgan campaign," Claire replied politely. "The presentation is next week." "Right, the campaign," Vincent said dismissively. "I hear marketing is handling it. That means it will probably need fixing by someone competent." Janet stiffened. "Our department has a 92% success rate on campaigns." Sure, Vincent waved his hand. "Well, when you need real sales strategy, you know where to find me." He walked away, leaving an uncomfortable silence at the table. Claire shook her head. "I will never understand why someone so unpleasant keeps getting promoted." "Because he brings in numbers," Lisa said quietly. "Even if nobody knows how he does it." Rebecca leaned in and whispered something Owen could not hear. The women nodded, and their conversation shifted to safer topics. But Owen had heard enough. Vincent was not just toxic to subordinates. He was condescending to colleagues, and apparently there were questions about how he achieved his impressive sales numbers. Very interesting. An unexpected ally that afternoon. Owen was emptying trash bins on the executive floor when Patricia Hayes stopped him in the hallway. The veteran administrator had worked at Sterling Industries longer than anyone except the CEO himself. "Owen, right?" Patricia asked, surprising him. Most people never bothered learning the janitors' names. "Yes, ma'am." "I wanted to apologize," Patricia said. "When you started, I was short with you. I have been stressed with budget reports, but that is no excuse for not being welcoming." Owen was stunned. "Ma'am, you were perfectly polite. You have nothing to apologize for." "Maybe, but polite and kind are different things," Patricia said. "You are part of this team, and you deserve to be treated that way." She handed him a sealed envelope. "The executive floor staff usually tips the cleaning crew during the holidays, but I wanted to give you something now as a welcome. I know maintenance does not pay much." Owen looked at the envelope, feeling uncomfortable. "Ma'am, I cannot accept this." "Please," Patricia insisted. "Consider it a thank you. This floor has never looked cleaner. You do excellent work." Owen reluctantly took the envelope, knowing he would find a way to return the kindness somehow. "Thank you, Mrs. Hayes. This means a lot." After Patricia left, Owen opened the envelope. Inside was $50 and a handwritten note. "Welcome to Sterling Industries. Hard work deserves recognition, $50. For Patricia, who he knew had 3 children and a mortgage, this was a meaningful sacrifice. She had given generously to someone she thought needed it more than she did. Owen felt his throat tighten with emotion. His company had good people like Claire and Patricia who led with kindness and integrity, but it also had people like Vincent who created toxicity and fear. The question was, which group was shaping the company culture? The evening discovery at 8 o'clock, after most employees had gone home, Owen was cleaning Vincent's office. The sales manager had left in a hurry, leaving his computer unlocked and papers scattered across his desk. Owen knew he should not look. It was an invasion of privacy, and he had come here to observe, not to spy. But something caught his eye. A spreadsheet left open on the screen with the title, "Actual Numbers versus Reported Numbers." Owen glanced at the doorway. The hallway was empty. He looked back at the screen and felt his blood run cold. The spreadsheet showed 2 sets of figures. One column displayed real sales data with declining numbers and customer complaints. The other column showed inflated figures that made Vincent's department look successful. Vincent was falsifying reports. Owen took out his phone and carefully photographed the screen. This was not just about workplace culture anymore. This was fraud. Vincent was lying to the board, to the executives, and to Owen himself about his department's performance. The evidence was right here, and Owen had found it because nobody pays attention to the janitor cleaning the office. A promise made before leaving for the night. Owen stopped by the 3rd floor one last time. Claire was still in her office, working late on a presentation. She looked exhausted but determined. Owen knocked gently on the door frame. "Burning the midnight oil, Miss Claire?" She looked up and smiled. "Hey, Owen, just finishing this campaign proposal. It has to be perfect. I am sure it will be. You work harder than anyone I have seen." "Thanks," Claire said, rubbing her tired eyes. "Sometimes I wonder if hard work matters. People like Vincent get ahead by being loud and aggressive, while people like me just keep working and hoping someone notices. Owen wanted to tell her that someone did notice, that he noticed, that her kindness and integrity meant more than any sales numbers. But he could not yet. "Keep being who you are, Claire," Owen said quietly. "The right people will notice. I promise." She smiled, not knowing that the promise came from the one person in the building who could make it come true. Owen woke up on Tuesday morning feeling the weight of what was about to happen. 6 days of working as a janitor had given him more insight into Sterling Industries than 2 years as CEO. He had seen kindness and cruelty, integrity and deception, hard work and manipulation. Today, everything would change. He showered and shaved off the thick beard that had hidden his identity. The expensive suit felt strange after a week in janitor uniforms. His reflection in the mirror showed Owen Sterling, billionaire CEO, but he still felt like Owen the janitor who had learned what it meant to be invisible. The board meeting was scheduled for 10 o'clock. Every department head would be there, including Vincent Cross. Owen had prepared a presentation that would shake the foundation of his own company, but it needed to be done. Real change required uncomfortable truth. The final morning rounds. Before heading to the meeting, Owen put on the janitor uniform one last time. He wanted to walk through Sterling Industries as an invisible man one final morning, to see his company through the eyes of those who kept it running but rarely received recognition. He arrived at 6 o'clock and began his cleaning routine. The building was quiet, peaceful. Owen cleaned the break room on the 3rd floor, remembering all the conversations he had overheard there. Stories of struggle and hope, complaints about unfair treatment, dreams of better opportunities. At 7:30, like clockwork, Claire arrived with her thermos of coffee and bag of muffins. She smiled when she saw Owen. "Good morning," Claire said warmly. "I tried a new recipe today. Chocolate chip banana muffins. Want to be my taste tester?" Owen accepted the muffin gratefully. "You know, Claire, I have been meaning to tell you something." "What is that?" "Your kindness this week has meant more to me than you could possibly know. You treated me like I mattered when most people looked right through me." Claire looked confused by the serious tone. "Of course you matter, Owen. Everyone matters. I do not understand why people forget that." "Most people do forget," Owen said quietly. "But you never did. That makes you special. Are you okay?" Claire asked with concern. "You sound like you were saying goodbye." "Not goodbye." Owen smiled mysteriously. "Just thank you for being exactly who you are." Before Claire could respond, Owen's phone buzzed. A message from his actual assistant. "CEO suite prepared for your return. Board members arriving at 9:30. See you soon, Mr. Sterling." It was time. The transformation, Owen went down to the maintenance office where he had kept his suit and briefcase locked in a storage room. Bill, the maintenance supervisor, was surprised to see him changing. "You quitting already?" Bill asked. "I thought you were doing good work." "Not quitting," Owen said, buttoning his shirt. "Just moving to a different position." Bill looked at the expensive suit and Italian leather shoes with confusion. "What kind of position requires clothes like that?" "The kind where people finally have to listen," Owen replied. He left the maintenance office and took the elevator to the executive floor. Patricia Hayes nearly dropped her coffee when she saw him step out of the elevator. "Oh my goodness," Patricia gasped. "Owen, what are you wearing? Did you win the lottery or something?" Owen smiled. "Something like that, Mrs. Hayes. Is the boardroom ready?" Patricia stared at him, her mind racing to make sense of what was happening. "The boardroom is ready for Mr. Sterling's return, but why are you asking about that?" "Because I need to make sure everything is perfect for this meeting," Owen said gently. "It is going to be a memorable one." Recognition slowly dawned on Patricia's face. Her eyes widened and her hand flew to her mouth. "No, you cannot be." "Are you?" "Owen Sterling," he confirmed. "And before you apologize or feel embarrassed, please know that you were one of the kindest people I met this week. That envelope you gave me, I'm going to frame it as a reminder of what real generosity looks like." Patricia's eyes filled with tears. "I gave my boss $50 and told him to work harder." "You gave a stranger kindness when he needed it most," Owen corrected. There is a big difference. The board meeting begins at 10 o'clock, the boardroom filled with department heads and senior executives. Vincent Cross strutted in confidently, carrying his falsified reports and wearing an expensive watch that probably cost more than his secretary made in 6 months. Claire was there too, representing the marketing department while her boss was on vacation. She sat quietly in the corner, looking nervous and out of place among the senior staff. The board members took their seats, confused about why they had been called in for an emergency meeting. The CEO chair at the head of the table remained empty. "Where is Sterling?" Vincent asked impatiently. "Some of us have actual work to do." The boardroom doors opened and Owen walked in. The room fell completely silent. Vincent stared. Claire gasped. The board members looked relieved and confused at the same time. "Good morning, everyone," Owen said, taking his seat at the head of the table. "Thank you for coming on short notice. I apologize for my appearance over the past week. I was conducting a personal investigation into company culture and operations." "Mr. Sterling," one of the board members said carefully. "What kind of investigation?" "The kind where I worked as a janitor in my own building for 6 days," Owen replied calmly. "The kind where I became invisible and saw how people truly behave when they think nobody important is watching." Vincent's confident expression cracked slightly. Claire looked like she might faint. "During my time as a janitor, I observed many things," Owen continued. "I saw incredible kindness from people like Patricia Hayes and Claire Bennett, who treated me with respect and dignity even though they thought I was just a minimum wage worker. I also saw cruelty, manipulation, and fraud." He pressed a button, and the projector screen came to life with the photograph he had taken of Vincent's computer. The spreadsheet showed clearly labeled columns comparing actual sales numbers with the falsified figures Vincent had been reporting. The room erupted in shocked murmurs. "Vincent Cross," Owen said, his voice cold. "You have been systematically falsifying sales reports for at least 8 months. Your department is not thriving. It is failing. Customer satisfaction in your division has dropped 23%. Employee complaints have tripled, but you have been hiding these facts by manipulating data and intimidating anyone who tried to tell the truth." Vincent's face turned pale, then red. "You have no right to look at my private files. That is an invasion of privacy." "Those files belong to this company," Owen replied. "And as CEO, I have every right to review them. What I do not have is the right to let fraud continue while good employees suffer." "This is ridiculous," Vincent blustered. "I have brought in millions for this company. My methods get results." "Your methods are lies," Owen said firmly. "And they end today. You are terminated, effective immediately. Security will escort you from the building. You have 1 hour to collect your personal belongings under supervision." Vincent stood up, his chair scraping loudly. "You cannot do this." "I will sue. I will destroy you." "You are welcome to try," Owen said calmly. "But I suggest you focus on finding a good lawyer instead. The evidence of fraud has been forwarded to our legal department. They will decide whether to press criminal charges." 2 security guards appeared at the door. Vincent looked around the room hoping for support but found only cold stares. He had made too many enemies, bullied too many people. Nobody was going to defend him now. As Vincent was escorted out, Owen turned to the rest of the room. "Let me be clear about something. This company was built on integrity, respect, and hard work. Somewhere along the way, we lost sight of those values. We created an environment where people like Vincent could thrive while good people felt invisible." He looked at Claire, who was still processing everything. "That changes today." Recognition and redemption. After the board members left to process what had happened, Owen asked Claire and Patricia to stay behind. Both women looked terrified, probably thinking they were in trouble. "Please, sit down," Owen said gently. "You are not in trouble. Quite the opposite." Claire sat on the edge of her chair, her hands trembling slightly. "Mr. Sterling, I had no idea. If I had known who you were, I would have been more professional and less casual with the muffins and the coffee and everything else that was probably completely inappropriate." "Stop," Owen interrupted. "Claire, the way you treated me was perfect. You saw a person, not a position. You showed kindness without expecting anything in return. That is exactly the kind of person this company needs in leadership. Leadership? Claire whispered. I am promoting you to Director of Marketing, Owen said. Your current boss is competent but uninspired. You have the passion, creativity, and integrity to lead that department to greatness. The position comes with a significant salary increase and a team of your own. Claire's eyes filled with tears. I do not know what to say. Say yes, Owen smiled. Yes, Claire managed. Thank you. I promise I will work harder than ever. I know you will, Owen said, because hard work is who you are. He turned to Patricia. Mrs. Hayes, you have worked here for 23 years. You know this company better than anyone. I am creating a new position, Vice President of Employee Relations. Your job will be to ensure that every employee, from the executive floor to the maintenance crew, is treated with dignity and respect. You will report directly to me. Patricia wiped tears from her eyes. Mr. Sterling, I am just an administrator. I do not have a fancy degree or executive experience. You have something more valuable, Owen said. You have integrity and compassion. You gave $50 to a stranger because you thought he needed it. That tells me everything I need to know about your character. The company meeting. That afternoon, Owen called an all-staff meeting in the main lobby. Over 300 employees gathered, confused and worried about what was happening. Rumors had spread quickly about Vincent's termination and the CEO working undercover as a janitor. Owen stood on the raised platform where usually only visiting dignitaries spoke. He looked out at the sea of faces, recognizing many of them from his week of invisibility. Good afternoon, everyone. For those who do not know me, I am Owen Sterling, CEO of this company. Last week, I did something unusual. I worked among you as a janitor named Owen, cleaning offices and emptying trash bins. I did this because I needed to see the truth about Sterling Industries from a perspective I had never experienced before, the crowd murmured with surprise and curiosity. What I found was both inspiring and troubling, Owen continued. I found people like Claire Bennett and Patricia Hayes who treat everyone with kindness regardless of their position. I also found managers who abuse their power and create toxic environments. That ends today. He paused, making eye contact with people throughout the crowd. From this moment forward, Sterling Industries will operate on 3 core principles. First, respect. Every person in this building deserves to be treated with dignity, whether they are a CEO or a janitor. Second, integrity. We will reward honest work and honest communication even when the truth is uncomfortable. Third, recognition. Good work will be acknowledged and rewarded, not taken for granted. The crowd began to applaud, cautiously at first, then with genuine enthusiasm. I am implementing several immediate changes, Owen continued. All maintenance and service staff will receive a 20% pay increase, effective immediately. We are creating an anonymous reporting system for workplace concerns, and we are establishing quarterly awards to recognize employees who exemplify our values. The applause grew louder. Finally, I want to say something to those of you who have felt invisible, Owen said, his voice thick with emotion. I see you now. I understand what it means to be overlooked and undervalued. That will not happen anymore, not in my company. You matter. Your work matters, and I am committed to creating a place where everyone knows their value. The standing ovation lasted for several minutes. Owen looked out at the faces of his employees and saw hope, relief, and renewed purpose. This was what leadership meant. Not corner offices and board meetings, but real connection with real people. The quiet moment that evening, after everyone had gone home, Owen returned to the third-floor break room. Claire found him there, sitting at the small table where they had shared muffins and coffee just that morning. Strange day, Claire said, sitting down across from him. The strangest, Owen agreed. Can I ask you something? Claire said carefully. Why did you really do this? CEOs do not usually work undercover as janitors. Owen thought about his answer. Because I inherited a company built by my grandfather, a man who knew every employee by name and treated everyone like family. Somewhere along the way, I lost sight of that. I became focused on profits and growth, forgetting that companies are made of people, not numbers. I needed to remember what my grandfather knew all along. What is that? Claire asked. That kindness matters more than efficiency. That character matters more than credentials. That the measure of a company is not how it treats its stars, but how it treats everyone else. Claire smiled. Your grandfather sounds like he was a wise man. He was, Owen said. And thanks to people like you, I am learning to be wise too. They sat in comfortable silence, two people from different worlds brought together by circumstance and connected by shared values. Outside the windows, the city lights sparkled like promises of better days ahead. Sterling Industries would never be perfect, but it would be better. One act of kindness at a time, one moment of recognition at a time. One person seeing another person, really seeing them, and choosing to care. That was the real revolution. Not in policies or procedures, but in the simple, profound act of treating others the way Owen had been treated during his week of invisibility. With respect, with kindness, with the understanding that every person matters, regardless of the uniform they wear or the title on their door. The end.